Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend and welcome to the live stream. Today, we're talking Netflix. I'm sure we'll talk about other stuff as well, but at least for the first little bit of this, we're going to be talking Netflix. Their Q2, quarter two earnings report came out this week, and it's been an interesting one. Gives us lots to talk about. And as I said in the title and the thumbnail for this particular live stream, the reports of Netflix's demise were rather early. So yeah, Netflix is going to be just fine, but we'll talk about where they've been, where they're at, and what they might need to do going forward if they want to, maintain streaming. They're not. It's not a stranglehold anymore, but if they want to stay on top of the mountain, the streaming mountain, then we're going to talk about what they might want to do. So, welcome everybody, Paul. I don't know what worms I would have for you, but yeah, sure. You have all the worms you want. It's totally fine. Glad you're here. Let's see, Thomas, Trish, William, Sylvia, Mel, Francis. I'm sure I'm missing a few people. We come not to bury Netflix, but to praise it. Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, and I love how like you guys are recognizing each other at this point. You know, it's we're building our own little streaming household over here. All right, so let's talk Netflix. Let me just pull up this window here and see what we're dealing with. All right, so this is from the New York Times. The Netflix. It's like when people still mess up and say the Ukraine, right? So the Netflix says it lost nearly 1 million subscribers and breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, so to put this into perspective, let's talk about where things have been up to this point. Now, you remember we were talking somewhat recently about Netflix's troubles earlier in the year. So in the first quarter, January, February, March, in the first quarter, Netflix lost 200,000 subscribers. This quarter, they lost nearly 1 million. Now, why is this good news? That's a lot more than 200,000, right? Well, there's a few things that go into it. First of all, the quarter one loss, as you may recall, was the first time in over a decade, if I recall, that Netflix actually lost subscribers instead of gained subscribers over the course of a quarter. And so it had them scrambling, it had investors scrambling. The media didn't know what to do with this information. Oh my gosh, Netflix is dying. Well, again, not dying. Where did it go? Yeah, we come not to bury Netflix, but to praise it. Well, I don't know about praise, but at least analyze a little bit. We come not to bury Netflix, but to analyze it. Hi from the UK. Hi from the US. Glad to have you here. Okay. You might need a mod in here. Not everybody agrees Netflix is that great. Hey, I get it. Yeah, I don't think anything is that great to William. I'm surprised you're here because these streams aren't that great, I'm sure. Okay, so that's right. I need a mod to kick out anybody who doesn't like Netflix. No, not at all. I've been saying for a long time that with singing the praises of Disney Plus and HBO Max and Discovery Plus and whoever else. I mean, there's a lot on the list, but the whole point is singing the praises of the fact that we have those available, that we have the possibility of competition with Netflix, so that if you don't quite love it, if it's not your cup of tea, you've got a lot of other options. Didn't used to be that way, right? It was like Netflix or Hulu, take your pick, or both, right? So anyway, yeah, I'm glad we have those choices now. Okay, so, but hang on, let me pull this one up. Frayden says, "I'm so sick of Netflix all the way around. LOL." Tell the truth. Did you really LOL, or did you just type that out? No, the reason it's instructive. We need to talk about this sort of thing because let me pull up this other one. Here's another story for us to take a look at. This one's from Barron's. Disney, Roku, and other streaming stocks rise sharply after Netflix's earnings. Now, why is that? Did they rise because everybody was saying, "Oh my gosh, it's blood is in the water. I need to invest in their competitors"? I'm sure that was the case for some people, but on the other hand, it's when things start looking better, as they do with these quarter two numbers, and again, we're going to get back into those a little bit. When things start looking better for the giant, massive streaming company at the top of the pile, things look better for the industry generally, right? So you may be sick of Netflix, and I get that, but we still talk about it because it's relevant when we think about, other companies, other streaming services, even streaming devices in that space. So nobody beats Netflix's opening chord. What are some other good ones? What was I just watching? Oh, you know what? I have heaped a lot of scorn on the name Freevee. I don't like the name. I get why they do it. It's Freevee TV, whatever. Whatever. I get it. I don't like it, but their intro graphic is fabulous. It's really, really good. I genuinely enjoy watching something on Freevee for when that comes up, and then I can change the channel. Okay. I wonder how long do you think we're all going to keep saying channel? It's kind of like you tape something. You tape a show, or you tape an episode. When I'm filming a video for the channel, like I'm not filming anything. But so I wonder how long channel. I just said our channel. I wonder how long those words will stick around. Okay, where were we? Okay, I want to bring up a few other things with this Netflix subscriber report. If we scroll down through here, this New York Times report, there's a couple things that really jumped out. Okay, so the losses in quarter two were almost 1 million, and as Reed Hastings says, it's less bad results than they were expecting. It's tough losing 1 million subscribers and calling it a success. But the prediction was for 2 million subscribers to leave in the second quarter, and that didn't happen. So it is a success in that way. And that could be a case of, over-promising or under-promising and over-delivering. So anyway, but it's still interesting. And here's another number to point out right here. Revenue grew 9%. It did fall short of projections. Projections put it just over 8 billion. It was like 8.02 billion, but instead it was 7.97 billion or something like that. So it missed by a little bit, but it still grew 9%. And that's the revenue. Now, here's another interesting number. If we come down, let's see, where do they have it? Yeah, okay, this was interesting. The company laid off 450 employees. It had 70 million in severance costs as a result of the downsizing. Now, why do I bring this up? Does this have a whole lot to do with with analyzing the results of the Q2? No, it has nothing to do with that. I saw that and I went, wait a minute, that's a huge number. 70 million in severance costs for 450 employees. So I did the math. Do you want to know what the math comes out at? 70 million divided by 450 is 155,555 and 55 cents. And, 0.55 repeating. So according to this, they had over $155,000 per employee in severance costs. It kind of makes me wish I'd been fired from Netflix earlier this year. My goodness. I'm sure there were some executive golden parachutes that that skewed those numbers a bit, but still, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Holy cow! All right. Let's see. Ooh, yeah. Let's see. Old school HBO intro. That was a good one. Hey, thank you. Yeah, Craig is always right. That's true. Thanks, Mel. This is true. About a third of that 150K will be healthcare cost. Yeah, no, that's true. Boy, don't get me started on that. Hoi. I am a Huluun. I I've never heard that in my life. Is this a Jeff McIntyreism, or is this a real thing that people say? Because I've never heard that in my life, but that's great. uh, yeah, okay. So all right. Here comes William, trying to be a downer. I'm never gonna let this go. This is too much fun. I still remember way back when I went to my brother's house and he first got a streaming device and had Netflix. It started out at $4.99 and a 30-day trial. Look where we're at now. Yeah, no, totally. But I'll bet if you went back to, whenever that was, that probably would have been, 2009, 10, 11, 12 maybe. I think the first Roku's didn't even come out for a little while. Anyway, so let's call it 2012, 10 years ago. If you had a time machine, you could go back and scroll through the Netflix library. We'd probably all be pretty shocked at how much the quality has improved. Now, because I know you're already typing. I can see it. Okay, look, I'm looking right through the camera. I can see you typing. Stop. Just let me just say, what I mean is, they licensed almost all their content a decade ago, and they would spend a ton of money on a few big titles. This is very much like what you see if you go into like FilmRise, or Tubi isn't a good example anymore, but it was 3-4 years ago. But you go into one of those streaming services, they spend a ton of money licensing a few big titles that they can put right on that front screen. Like, oh my gosh, look at how amazing this is. And then as you scroll through, you're like, oh, wow, they are really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Something that they could license for, a couple grand and just throw on there so they could say, hey, we have a bajillion titles. And now I'm not saying they don't have a problem with the original's quality, but I will say that because they have years and years now of doing quality originals, those titles are still there. They don't have to license them. They're never going to go away. And so now it's like, yeah, if you want to watch some hit show from a half a decade ago, you want to go back and rewatch House of Cards, there it is, or whatever show. I don't know what the good examples on Netflix would be. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, point being, it was $4.99 with a 30-day trial back then, because they didn't have to pay for all the content that they're making now. And they, and like I said, they were scraping the bottom of the barrel for most of their licensing. Anyway, poor Netflix, only 7.9 billion. But when you look at how much they spend, okay, so that's per quarter. Let's put that out, annualize that. And obviously this is not how earnings reports work, but let's just say for the sake of argument, it's $8 billion in revenue, annualized. You're looking at, $32 billion in the year. Okay, that's a lot of money. There are some countries who would love to have that sort of money. Okay, so $32 billion, and they're spending $20 billion making content, and they're spending money on marketing, and they're spending money on staff. They're just, so when we talk about Netflix, yeah, they turn a tidy profit, I think, or at least, no, certainly try to. No, they make a lot of money, and but it's not like $8 billion went into Reed Hastings' pocket. That's not how it works, obviously. So, but yeah, seriously, I'd love to have bought Netflix stock, 10 years ago. Well, maybe later this year, I'll have loved to have bought Netflix stock 10 years ago. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. They got stuck up for getting rid of the 30-day trial. Why? It's a 30-day trial makes a lot of sense if you're an unknown quantity, but Netflix is not an unknown quantity. People know what Netflix is now. They know what to expect. They know whether they like it or if they don't. The 30-day free trial is it's great for helping people get to know you. It's also ripe for abuse. And so if I'm a Netflix exec, and somebody says, what can we do to increase our revenue, cut down on our losses, that would hit the chopping block pretty quick if it came across my desk, because you don't need it. Everybody knows who you are. If you're Disney Plus and you're trying to make a huge splash, you're trying to get as many subscribers as humanly possible in the first weekend, or in the first month, then, or in the first year, then you do that free trial. If you are, if you're rebranding, what did it used to be? If you're rebranding CBS All Access as Paramount Plus, then you might need that 30-day free trial to help people to know who you are and give you a shot. Hey, all these Netflix subscribers, give it a shot. Come over here, see what we've got. See if you want to, cancel that, sign up for this, right? Netflix doesn't need to do that. They're too much of a known quantity. I don't know about stuck up. It's that when you're the biggest target in the field, people shoot at you a lot. I'm talking about people who take advantage of things like free trials, people who do a lot of password sharing and avoid paying for the service that they use. So anyway, so my goal is to make you laugh. There you go. Well, it worked. Okay. You managed to catch me live. Well, I'm glad you're here. This is the live shows are always fun, in part because I get to fight a lot with William and Frayden and whoever else. It's just one big sibling rivalry around here. Okay. All right. So now we're getting into it. Netflix ad-supported is going to shoot themselves in the foot if they don't include everything. Many of their contracts with providers prohibit streaming with ads and will have to be renegotiated. It's an interesting point. It could. Yeah, and that's why, how difficult would it be technologically for Netflix to implement ads on to, a lower tier? Not that tough. Look, I'm not saying I know how to do it. I'm just saying, compared to some of the other things that you have to do technologically, this is not that difficult. Insert AI approved ad breaks, throw some ads in there, it's ready to go. And this is the tough part of it. What happens with all those things you negotiated? And that's why they say, they announced it, 3 months ago, they said, okay, we're going to have to probably do ads. So they announced that and they say, we're going to work on that over the course of this year and we might introduce something later. And that's what David's talking about. It's a smart point. That's what they're going to have to figure out is those contracts. Okay. Let's see. Their stock price is down 70%. Tough environment to operate in. That's true. It's down. At its lowest, it was down 70% from its peak that I think they hit last year, late last year. Anyway, it is up 7% from that nadir though. So, okay. I guess that would be a good argument if Prime didn't offer their 30-day trial. I think that's a fair point. That's absolutely a fair point. Prime is a known quantity as well. That's true. Prime hasn't reached market saturation though. I think the way Netflix kind of has. They still have. There is still money on the table for Prime to find and make, like customers out there for them to find. So, but that is a fair point. The only thing I would say is I always set Prime aside because it's so different. You're not just doing a streaming service there. It's the whole shebang, the whole shipping and music and photos and this and that and the other. So it is a little bit different, I think, in my book. Still, good point. All right. Okay. So if all the streamers are spending 200 million plus on content, it'll be a slow fall. Okay. Okay, so Freyden. All right, so a little more. Let's see. It's not that because they got rid of the trial that I find them stuck up. It's just that they were on top of the hill for a long time, and now that competition is here, they want to blame subs. well, well, what do you mean blame subs? I'm interested in that. Um, for all their problems, it seems like just try to get better. Yeah, I mean, and that is kind of what they're doing. Okay, so let's pull up another story here. This one is from NPR. Let's see if I can blow this up a bit for you. Okay, so this person, Eric Deggans, gives some advice. Okay, so Freyden says, just try to get better. All right, so this person gives some advice. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, the binge watching model needs to be modified. Maybe, maybe not. But okay, so here's what this guy says. What the report doesn't know about Stranger Things. Okay, so Stranger Things, the biggest English language TV hit ever in its 4th season with 1.3 billion hours viewed. Hours, you guys, not minutes. 1.3 billion hours viewed. That's a lot of TV. Okay, what the report doesn't note, however, is that the show's most recent season debuted in 2 chunks, ensuring that fans remained interested in the show over several weeks, keeping episodes in the streamer's top 10. So this guy's saying they need to modify their binge watching model. And in another article, it might have been that New York Times one, it might have been one of the others I was reading, Netflix kind of seemed to double down on their binge model, saying, that is who we are. And they say we want to give customers choice. It's all about giving them choice. And you can take that with a grain of salt, obviously. But it kind of sounds like they want to stick with the binge model because it is their selling point. Everybody else is doing weekly releases for this reason. But they're saying, maybe not everybody has to do that. Sorry, I should have blown that up a little bit earlier. Hulu still has a 30-day trial. Yeah, and they also have far, far fewer subscribers than Netflix does. Okay. So, let's see. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, let's go on. Well, no, actually, I am interested in this. Okay, you know what? Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get rid of that for a sec. We're going to go to make a straw poll because I'm interested in what you guys have to say about this. Excuse me. All right. Create a poll. Okay, we're going to create a poll about the binge model. And I am not going to give you guys a cop-out. So we can talk about exceptions like the Stranger Things thing where they had 2 chunks. But, we're not going to go into exceptions. We're just going to talk about the rule. And I want to create this poll and then share that. Okay, so I'm going to send this poll your way. Okay. Now, let's check out the results and see what you guys have to say. Okay. And yeah, I am interested in this. Binge model, better or worse? Check out that straw poll. Let me know what you think. Because I like that there is a place that's a little bit different. I like that Netflix has something that sets them apart, aside from their content, their titles. Yeah, I enjoy that about it. I kind of prefer. I guess it really kind of depends on the show. But I do enjoy the weekly releases. I have enjoyed with The Boys, just finished up on season 3 on Prime Video, and I enjoyed having something to look forward to. When I was watching, what did HBO Max do? Peacemaker. Peacemaker was another kind of irreverent anti-superhero show, and I would enjoy looking forward to that. The Star Wars stuff, or Marvel stuff on Disney, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I do find myself enjoying that. But on the other hand, there's something to be said for the binge model, like with something like Stranger Things, it's you get it almost feels less like a series and more just like a really really long movie. So you had, gosh, how long was Stranger Things this season? 8 episodes of 14 hours of TV or something ridiculous like that. So anyway, I guess I see the merit in both. I'm not going to like really argue hard for one way or another. All right, so looks like it looks like you guys are kind of with me. If I take you as a whole, then it's this is about where I am. Like I might lean one way or another depending on the day, depending on the title, but I could really see myself going either way. So Paul says, I really don't binge like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, but I like the flexibility that the model provides. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's what Netflix is saying. That's what they want to provide. I do find myself more and more in that in that camp where the older I get, and dear Lord, I've been doing this channel now for 6 years, right? And so like I can think back to when I started reviewing streaming services and whatnot, and even in just 6 years, I'm like, I don't have the time to, like on a daily basis to sit down and just watch 4, 5, 6 hours of TV. I used to be able to do that. But, kids kind of put the kibosh on that sort of thing. And other things. I mean, other things as well. Running a business puts a kibosh on that sort of thing. So, Sylvia, like I was saying, look forward to having a show every week. There you go. Okay. According to the book Binge Times, many folks in the creative community hate their guts. That's always going to be true. That's always going to be true. The creative folks versus the money folks they will never see eye to eye. It is a law of nature. You should hear Hollywood producers talk about creatives, and there's no love lost there. And so when I hear things like this, they hate their guts. They hate Netflix's guts. That may be true, but they hated everybody else's guts before that. They'll hate the new person's guts after Netflix. Whatever. It's kind of how it goes. Oh well, I don't read too much into that. Let's see, Craig, what do you think about Money Heist? I don't think I've ever thought about Money Heist. Never saw it. Didn't like waiting for The Mandalorian every week. Yeah, The Mandalorian, I almost agree with that. I think I did ultimately like it because I liked the cultural significance of the weekly release, where we all got to talk about The Mandalorian for a week and then a new episode came out. But they were very short episodes, right? Those were like 25 to 35 minutes long, at least for the first season. And I wish that they had been a little bit longer so that I had something to kind of chew on, or more to chew on, for waiting for a week. All right. Rebooted Roku seems okay now. Yeah, glad to hear it. Let's see. There. Okay, I wanted to see what Frayden meant. I meant they just seem to blame their subs for everything that goes wrong. Oh, we lost subscribers. It's because our subs are giving out their logins. So we're going to crack down on that. I see what you're saying. I don't think that is what they're saying. Especially if we just take the password sharing, they are blaming their subs for that, but they're not saying that's why we lost subscribers. I think they're saying that's why we're losing revenue. If you are this is not a great analogy, but if you're a barber, and you provide a service, you sit somebody down in the chair, you cut their hair, they pay you, X amount of dollars, you say thank you, they say thank you, they head out the door, and the next customer comes in. If 10% of the people who sit down in your chair and get a haircut from you, maybe they say like, I got a coupon. Let me see if I can, go to my car and grab, or I forgot my wallet. I need to go run to my car and grab it. And then they just get in their car and take off, right? Like, you just lost revenue that you worked for. You provided a service and you should be paid for that service. And so Netflix with the password sharing thing, I'm actually very sympathetic to Netflix on this. I don't mind password sharing up to a certain point, like, obviously within the same household, parents with their kids in college, maybe. Like, I'm sympathetic with it up to a point, but I'm also sympathetic with Netflix when they say, look, we've got 200 million subscribers, but we have 260 million people using the service. So those 60 million people are using the service and not paying us for that service. Like, I gotta say, as somebody who runs a business and provides services, I'd be pretty upset too. So anyway, it's hard for me to get too mad at Netflix for that one specifically. We'll see what they do with it though. Okay. The poll's even, so you'd think people want both. Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it kind of depends on the title, right? It depends on the show a lot. Okay, so let's oops, wrong button. Let's go back to this Netflix, the NPR one. So the binge model needs to be modified. Maybe not. So he's saying the split Stranger Things thing is an indication that they should modify their binge model. Maybe not. Netflix series are often too long and drawn out. This is, I mean, a lot of people. I've been saying this since blah, blah, blah. A lot of people have been saying this for a while. Netflix used to have a thing where it was 8 episodes or 10 episodes. And that is what you will turn into us. So they could pare that down a little bit. I could see that. Okay, here's one that I disagree with. Or hang on. No, hang on. Let's read through it. Oh, gosh, you can't even see that. I keep forgetting to blow that up, you guys. Netflix has a growing quality TV deficit. Even though shows like Stranger Things, Squid Game, and Ozark racked up Emmy nominations this year, they outpaced by rival HBO. It isn't minting awards-level prestige shows like it once used to. That will affect a certain segment of the subscriber base. Yeah, that's okay. So I don't disagree with this on its face. What I will say is that this author is saying, okay, here's what Netflix needs to do to fix these things. And Netflix has already said, yeah, we know. That's something that they talked about after the Q1 earnings report is, we're going to rethink our content strategy where, they've been shotgunning it. Just throw $1 million here, $10 million there, $5 million here, and just see what people can come up with. We don't even care. We're not going to vet the content. Just put it on the air, and we'll hope for the best. They're not going to do that anymore because they know that it's that quality TV, that award-worthy TV, is a big draw for a lot of people, myself included. And so they're already addressing this. So it's not that I disagree with this. It's just that Netflix doesn't either. They're already going for it. Must build up goodwill with consumers before it tackles password sharing. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Pushing consumers to pay more to share passwords with others will be a tough turn. Insisting subscribers pay for a feature they have gotten free for many years. They'll be attempting this while also trying to build their subscriber count by limiting churn, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I guess so. You guys have listened to me rant now for the last 5 minutes about this, so you kind of know where I stand. I'm like, hey, look, you want it, pay for it. But I can be a bit of a hard ass with that sort of thing. So I have to get into other mindsets to consider this one. So yeah, maybe, but how are you going to build up goodwill with consumers? The only way to build up, I think, consistently goodwill with consumers is this one right here, is to make more quality TV that people want to watch and that they want to talk about. So if you solve this one, it solves this one, I think. I could be convinced otherwise, but that's my take on it. Anyway, all right. So I'm curious what you guys think about all this. let's we'll leave that there so that anybody who logs in now will know what we're talking about. Um, let's see. Frayden says I'm down the middle. I like the binge model like Netflix does, but I also like the weekly like Apple TV Plus does it. Depends on the show. Yeah. Some people like to let the drama build up. Some like it all at once. Yeah, gosh, Apple TV Plus. I'm trying to think if there's a show on Apple TV Plus that I haven't liked the weekly model on, and I don't think so. Their biggest hit is Ted Lasso, and that one is that one's such a cultural smash that like you got to go weekly on that one just so people have a chance to talk about it. Um, what was it? Oh, they are finishing out. They're doing a season 3 of C, which I actually quite enjoyed the first season. I didn't care as much for the second season. It had its moments, but we'll see. So like that one, I think that's a weekly model. For All Mankind, that's a weekly model. Anyway, yeah, depends on how it goes. I believe since Disney just got done releasing some recent Marvel Fox movies to the platform, eventually services like Hulu that are already partly owned by Disney will no longer be needed. Yeah, it's a smart point. I was saying when Disney Plus first came out that people were saying, "Oh, are they going to put any of their R-rated stuff on there?" And I said, "Well, they don't need to. They've got Hulu, right? So you put your R-rated stuff on Hulu." But now they are putting Logan and Deadpool, 2 R-rated features, are going on to Disney Plus, which very interesting move. We'll see if people complain about it. I'm not upset about it. Like if my kids are watching Disney Plus, I have their kids profile and it's locked, and they like I'm okay because I've got parental controls on there. They'd be bored to tears by Logan, and they're too young to understand the comedy of Deadpool, so I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, it could be interesting to see what happens with Hulu in the future. I wonder, will its current niche of kind of like must-see contemporary TV, will that continue to be its niche, or will it eventually kind of be absorbed into Disney Plus? I'm not sure. Okay. So Socrates with a little with a hot take here. I don't know how hot it is, but I don't like their model of 6 episodes. You start to get involved in the series and it's over. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for those of us. I don't know how old you are, Socrates, but I grew up watching TV in the '90s and the 2000s. Um, when shows were, and a season was 22 episodes, maybe up to 24 episodes. And, that's a lot of story to get through. Just ask Jack Bauer. That's a lot of story to get through. And then once streaming kind of hit, it shortened things up. It wasn't necessarily due to streaming, but it coincided with that, roughly in the timeline. And then you get things like Breaking Bad doing a 13 episode season, or you had a lot of 13 episode seasons on network and cable TV, and then it has been getting shorter and shorter. But I think I do prefer it that way, because the whole idea is, the whole idea is, think of it like a book. Like movies are short stories, and series can be novels. Yeah, I mean it's a rough way to look at it, but still I think it's helpful. So when you look at a series let's take a series that should have been 8 episodes, but it was 12 instead. It's like a novel that had an editor who fell asleep on the job, right? And just let way too much stuff in there. And that novel gets a little sluggish, a little bit boring. And then, if it's really smartly edited, obviously, it stays tight through the whole thing. With the 6 episode series, yeah, I guess it's just a shorter book, right? It's not a short story, but it's, we're getting into smaller novel territory. I think it's just getting used to it, right? It always throws me off now when I read a book that's, 200, 250, 250 pages. Whenever I read a book that short, it throws me off because I have spent years reading epic fantasy for the podcast and the other YouTube channel that I run. And so because epic fantasy is like, if it's not 800 pages, it doesn't count, man. Like you need these door stoppers. And so I'm used to that. So I read a 200-page novel and I'm like, well, I blinked and I missed it. Where did it go? So I get it. But you just have to rewire yourself. You have to get used to how the arc of the story works over 6 episodes rather than 8 or 12. All right. Okay. Apple TV really does give you both. If you think about it, they usually drop the first 3 episodes, then go weekly. It's a unique way of doing it. And I love that way of doing it. They did that when they first started. Are they still doing it that way? I haven't really kept up with their last couple releases to double check. But I remember the first week that Apple TV Plus came out, I watched 3 episodes of The Morning Show and See and For All Mankind and something else that was a big name on there, whatever. And, I had a week of just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing TV. I've still not gotten over how good the Apple TV Plus launch was. Because even though they had like 22 titles, it's like 12 of those were, just knocking it out of the park. They were so good. Okay. Binge model versus weekly. Good video idea. You know what? I'll take that. I like that. I'm bored to tears watching Logan too. No, I wasn't bored watching Logan. There were a couple parts I think that were a little too slow for me, but no, my kids are 6 and 9, so there's no way they could sit through Logan. WandaVision didn't start the story till episode 4, and then it was over. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Oh boy. 236 episodes of Friends, once a week on HBO Max, would take us to 2026 if I did the math right. No, that sounds about right. It took 10 years to air, and it would air for, a third of the year. So, 3.5 years. Yeah, it seems about right. 236 episodes of Friends, and you guys, I could quote every line of every one of them. So, this was a couple of years ago. Some friends of mine from work invited me and my wife to come to a friend's trivia night at some local bar. They didn't. They had no idea. They were like, "Hey, you've seen Friends, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen Friends." And said, "You come down to our trivia night. We need to fill out our team." And we're like, "Great, yeah, okay." And we went down there and just kicked the ass of that entire event. It was like me and my wife filling out the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's that's my TV comfort food. If I need to just have something on in the background, I don't even need to watch it anymore. If I just hear it, I can watch it in my head. Oh boy. London, baby. Nice. It's sad really, but I love Friends. I don't know why it's sad. It's just whatever. It's just a show. Okay. Oh, yeah. Your favorite show, Tehran, season 2, dropped with the first 3 episodes, then went to weekly. Truth Be Told, season 2. Oh, yeah. I started that. I did enjoy the first season of Truth Be Told up to a certain point, but I didn't like love it. And then season 2, I watched the first episode and I was kind of like, maybe later, and I've never gotten around to it again. But I like the first one. I haven't watched Tehran yet, though. The trailers look really good, but it's been another one that's kind of like you put it on your shelf. You're like, okay, this is to be watched, and then like every time it gets up to the top, some new release comes out and pushes it back down. And so that's where that one's been for me. Apparently, Tehran is fabulous. I really need to give this a shot. And I will. Let's see, on sale for 99 cents a month, Discovery Plus. It's really good. I actually just canceled my subscription. I kept it because I loved Discovery Plus so much conceptually, but I just canceled it because I went back and looked and we hadn't opened the app Neither me nor my wife had opened the app in like 2.5 months. So I was like, all right, time to go. But I will not hesitate to resubscribe if the occasion calls for it. Okay. I missed the series Pennyworth that was on Epix. Only 2 seasons, ended due to COVID. Yeah, that's the story for a lot of these. All right, you guys. So, where are we at with the Netflix stuff? Is there anything else we want to talk about? Let's see. We had Ars Technica saying, let's see, ads and new fees are key to recovery. Maybe. Yeah, I think we kind of covered most of this. Let's see if yeah, revenue's growing. Subscribers are going in the wrong direction, but they are expecting an increase in Q3. And there are a few things that are going to help them with that. But I think ultimately, if we come back to this story and we go down to those suggestions, this is really this should be number one. It should be the first, not the only, but the first thing that a streaming company like Netflix thinks about is, are we making quality content? Is this stuff that people want to watch? If it is, they'll watch it. If it's not, they won't. Pretty simple, right? So, if there are, so Stranger Things, they kind of attributed the stanching of the bleeding this quarter to Stranger Things. They said, this is such a smash hit that we managed to hang on to more subscribers that would have left, right? And that's what they need. They need more Stranger Things. They don't need more of, let's see if I can pull, okay, everything coming to Netflix in August. Yeah, let's do this one. So this is like everything, including the stuff that they're licensing. Does the other one have? Let's see. January. Oh gosh, it goes through the whole thing. Jeez. Anyway, now I guess. Gosh, I'm not using that to prove my point, I guess. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, they don't need 200 new titles a month. They need 10 really solid titles a month. Things that people like, that everybody wants to watch. They need more Stranger Things. They need to find themselves more things like Ted Lasso, things like like all the movies that HBO Max has been putting out there. They need more of that stuff. So there's a plug for you. So good I canceled it. Yeah, they can put that on the box. If it was a DVD box for Discovery Plus, they could put that on the box. No, I really like it. I just wasn't using it. So I like it conceptually. You guys have heard my rant on this, right? I don't know how many times I need to do my Discovery Plus rant, but it's a streaming service. Like many streaming services, it's one that I'm really, really glad exists. I think it works fabulously. It looks great. It's easy to navigate. It's got a bajillion hours of content on there. It's just not the content that's targeted toward me. Or maybe it is, but I'm, a fast-moving target. No, it's like I'm not the audience for it. So even though it doesn't work for me, I think it's fabulous. So, okay. Boy, a lot of you. All right. Or no, Afraid, I think you were the original one to say that. Or was it William? Anyway. Excellent under the radar show. All right, I'm going to watch it. Wasn't Netflix numbers high because of the pandemic? They may just be coming back to usual numbers. That's a great thought. And it would be more persuasive if that had happened to all the other streamers, but it didn't. There was definitely a pandemic effect where, streamers were growing, and then they see this sharp incline during the pandemic, and then they kind of, they grow at the regular rate again. So that is accurate. That is a thing. But with Netflix, it was this, and then they actually dipped. And now they're hoping to get back to that slow incline. But no, it's a good thought, and it did have an effect, just not industry-wide the same way that of what Netflix saw. Okay. Oh, wow. Subscription sleepers. 43% of digital media subscribers become inactive the day after they subscribe, according to a new report, up from 39% in 2021. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I have my excuse being that I kind of almost have to subscribe to a bunch of these things for this job. So yeah, it's a thing for me. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I think we've solved all of Netflix's problems. I hope they're watching because now they're well equipped to continue taking over the world. Thanks to the genius that is this live stream. So I hope you're subscribed. If you're watching, I hope you're subscribed. If you're not, please do. And go to Reviews.org. I have been saying this the last few live streams. Go to Reviews.org. We're more than just a YouTube channel. In fact, the people who write there are, I hate to say it, but sometimes even smarter than me. So yeah, go to Reviews.org. Check it out. And there's a lot more than just streaming stuff there as well. So let's see what else. What other housekeeping? I don't think there's anything else. So thanks everybody for hanging out today. I am going to get down to Salt Lake City. There's a new beer release, and got to get down there. So I'm gonna go hop in the car. Paul, thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Scott, thank you. Will do. AVR, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate all of you guys for coming and hanging out during these live streams. It is definitely a highlight of my week. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will